Hi everyone. So in this video series we are going to learn about Manim. Manim is a Python based library. Manim stands for mathematical animations. As the name suggests, it allows us to create animated mathematical videos by using Python code. We'll of course have to start with installation. You'll get these three links, and based on your operating system you can click on one of these and get the complete guide of installing it. I am currently using a Linux system, so I took reference from this particular page. It's a very straightforward process. You just need to copy some commands and put them in terminal and execute. So I am not going to go into detail of the installation process. Once Manim is installed, you can start creating videos using Python code, which we'll have a look at very shortly. But before that, let's have a look at a couple of videos by clicking on the Made with Manim button. This will give us some video content which is created using Manim, just so that we get an idea of how powerful or versatile the tool is. We'll start with this one, just some random videos we'll watch. So all this animation that you see right now, the text appearing and everything, this is all done using Manim. Let's have a look at one more video. Which one should we have a look at? Let's have a look at this one. So this is also an animated video, and these are all samples which we can create using Manim. Yeah, so I think this much is enough to at least understand what we can make using Manim. So we'll come back to the Manim official website, close this page. The next thing is the documentation, which is going to be very helpful while we are working with Manim. I am currently interested in the reference manual. These are the tools that Manim gives us. It gives us animation, camera, configuration, mObject, scene, and other things. We are primarily interested in three things: scene, mObject, and Manim. Why these three things? Because we are getting started. And in these three things, if you'll expand animations, you'll see that there are a lot of animations. There are a lot of categories, and in each category there are a lot of other animations. Of course, we cannot cover all this documentation, but we'll try to have a look at a few basic animations and other things. Coming to mObjects. mObjects is basically any object that you want in your video is mObject, whether it's a circle, it's a square, it's a text, it's a graph, it's an axis, anything that you can imagine is at the end of the day an mObject, that is a mathematical object. For example, if you expand geometry and arc, you'll see all these kinds of arc, and you'll see circle here also. Circle is also an mObject, and here you can see some code and the output which this particular code generated. So this is how the documentation is going to work, how we're going to use it. The next thing is scene, which is the most important thing. So like a canvas is to a painting, scene is to Manim video. It's basically the base on which you add mObjects and animations and other things. So now we'll shift to Visual Studio Code. I've already installed Manim, and ignore this archive folder. I created it and put my old content in there. Media folder is created by Manim once you compile your code to create a video, and shapes.py is the file that I wrote, and this is what we are going to try to recreate today. And the media folder is what contains the output videos. For example, if we expand it, and if we expand videos, and if we expand shapes, we'll see two folders. So we'll also have a look at how to use Manim CLI to control the output settings of the video. Let's just for now have a look at one of the videos. So yeah, we will try to create this video in this video series or tutorial. Okay, yeah, so first of all we'll have to create a new file. Let's call it demo.py, and here we need to import everything from Manim. So import star. Then we need to create a class. Let's call it demo shapes, and it needs to inherit from scene. because this class is going to act like a scene for us. Then we need to create a constructor, and in here we will start creating our objects. The Amazon Q extension is already giving us some suggested code, but let's ignore that and let's say C is equal to circle. So this is going to create a circle for us. Let's see what output does it give us. To run it, we need to run this command. So Manim, QL stands for quality low, and we'll also add a flag P. P means it is going to automatically play the video once it's compiled. We don't have to manually do it. Here is going to be the name of the Python file. The file name is demo.py, and the scene inside this file which we want to render is demo shapes. If we run this command, we don't see anything. What? Okay, yeah. So we've created a circle, but we never added to the scene. So we need to do self.add C, and now if we run the same command, hopefully we should see a circle. Yeah, we see a circle. There are a lot of configurations that we can do on this circle. So for example, we can say move to up times 2. So this is essentially saying that move the circle up by 2 steps. So earlier the circle appeared in the middle of the screen. Now it's going to appear not in the middle but 2 steps above. And similarly we can also say down. Now the circle is of course going to appear a little bit lower. Okay, let's get rid of this move to. Okay, before that, move to also can take an array of length 3, and these are going to determine the x, y and z axis of it. So let's say that I want it to move 2 steps towards the left, or let's say 4 steps towards the left. So the x coordinate will be -4 because left means negative, right means 0. The next argument is, let's say I want the circle to be moved down by 2 steps. I'm going to give -2. Since we're dealing with only 2D objects or 2D scene for now, let's keep the third argument, that is the z-axis 0. Let's see where does the circle appear right now. Here. From the center 4 steps towards the left, that was -4, and from the center 2 steps below, that is the -2. Okay. Now let's okay, so also notice that it's going to create a PNG for now because there are no animations added and we're just adding objects, so there is no moving part, so there's no point of creating a video. Okay, now we'll see c dot set underscore fill method, and here we can pass in a color. Let's say we want to make this circle yellow and we want the opacity. Okay, let's just take the suggestion, the opacity to be 0.5, and if we compile this again, we'll see a yellow circle with opacity 0.5. Let's try reducing the opacity from 0.5 to 0.2. I think then you'll be able to better understand the role of opacity here. Yeah, now you'll see the color is a little bit more lighter. And we can also change the radius of the circle. I think we have to pass it here, let's say 4. Yeah, now the radius has increased to 4. Okay, now let's get rid of the radius change that we made, and I'll put in, so I'll create these 4 shapes: circle, square, triangle and rectangle. So this is going to be blue, green, purple. The opacity of all of these are going to be 0.5. So we had a look at the move to method, which moves an M object on the scene based on the value that we pass. We can also say move to C. okay, which sorry, not move to, but next to C. So this next to method is going to put the square S right next to the M object circle C. So we are putting square right next to the circle, and then we are putting a triangle right next to the square, then we're putting a rectangle right next to the triangle. Let's see how this turns out to be. Okay, I did not add them to the scene, so I need to say self.add, and I don't have to add them one at a time. I can also add them collectively, like circle, square, triangle, and rectangle. Let's compile it now. So we see 4 shapes. I hope you understand the positioning of this. We made the circle move from the center 4 steps towards the left and 2 steps in the downwards direction. So circle is appearing here. We said square should appear next to the circle, so square is appearing next to the circle. We said triangle should appear next to square, so triangle is appearing next to square, and similarly this rectangle is appearing next to the triangle. Okay, so we have created these 4 shapes. Now let's proceed with some animations. Okay, so wait, the self here is basically scene, so self also has a method of wait. Let's make it wait for 0.5 seconds. Now it should create a video, I think. Yeah, now it's created an MP4. As you can see, the length of the video is half a second because it is waiting for half a second. And let's write some animations now. So we'll say self.play. The way we used self.add to add objects to the scene, we are going to use self.play to add animations or play animations. We will say, we'll add an animation of the circle. We'll say circle.animate, okay, and we will say dot shift, and we want to move it upwards by 4 points. We'll move it up by 4 steps, and I am actually not sure of what the default runtime of the animation is, but I want them to run a little bit quicker, so I can also pass in this parameter second parameter, and I want to run this animation in 0.5 seconds. Now let's see how it turns out. Okay, the circle moved up and the video ended right there. So the next thing that we're going to do is increase the size of the circle, as we saw in the initial video. Let's have a look at that once again. So this is what we are trying to create. So the circle first of all moves up, then the size increases, circle text appears, then the size decreases, and the circle moves back down. And then the same thing happens for all the other shapes. So this is what we have to achieve. So what we have done till now is made the circle move up. The next would be to increase the size of the circle. So I'll use this code. What this is saying is scale is the animation which scale is the method on the animate. Scale is one of the animations which changes the size. So we want the circle to become 1.5 times its original size, and we want to run this animation of increasing the size in 0.5 seconds. So let's quickly try this out if it is working. Circle moves up and then it increases in size. Cool. The next thing was we wanted a text to appear within the circle, right? So for that we'll have to create one more M object, and we will have to, okay, let's just create it here after waiting. That should not matter a lot. Let's call it C text. That is, text for the circle is equal to, we'll call it text. Text is an object, and then the value will be circle. And similarly we will create text elements for the other shapes that we have. We'll use them later, but let's just create them for now. Okay, so now we wanted the text to appear within the circle. So the first thing that we will do is we'll say c text dot move to circle. So this will, okay, we've understand this point that we are saying that the text should move where the circle right now is. The circle right now is 4 positions upwards of its original position. That was this. And we're saying that the text should move to this new position or the latest position of the circle, but it should not, it is not going to appear just yet. For that, we need to again either do self.add ctext, but we want it to animate. So we will say self.play, and then this time we want to animate the ctext. So we'll use this animation fade in and we'll pass ctext to it, and again we want it to run in 0.5 seconds. And how long do we want this text and the circle to stay in the same place? Let's just say that we want them to wait for 1 second, so that user at least gets a chance to read the text. So we're waiting for 1 second. The next thing will be, let's get rid of the text. So self dot remove and ctext. Yeah, so this is going to remove the m object ctext from the scene, demo shape scene, right? Once the text has been removed, we want the circle to come back to its original size and then come back to its original position. We'll again do it using animation. We'll say self dot play c dot animate dot scale. The way we increase the size, this time we are going to decrease the size. Earlier the size increased from 1 to 1.5. Now we want the size to go back down from 1.5 to 1. Now 1, so we'll write here 2 by 3. So basically the current size is 1.5 and we want it to be 1. So that is why this ratio 2 by 3, because 1 is 2/3 of 1.5. And again we want it to run in 0.5 seconds. Yeah, we need to close a bracket here. Okay, and now next thing is bringing the circle back. Yeah, this is a very good suggestion that Amazon Q gave us. So we are basically moving the circle down by 4 steps, because earlier we moved it up by 4 steps. So this should complete the animation for the circle that we wanted. Let's give it a try. Moves up, increases, circle text shrinks and comes back down. Perfect. The things that we did here for the circle, we are going to repeat the same things for other shapes. So I'll copy the code. And at the very end we are saying let's wait for 0.5 second more. Okay, and this time we will not compile this video in low quality. Let's compile it in high quality, that is quality high. This will take a little bit longer. Each of the segments that it is creating is taking more time because of the quality. Let's give it some time. Yes, so our video is finally compiled and you can have a look at the final result. So I think that should be good enough for you to at least get started with this, getting familiarized with this. And in the coming videos we'll dive into more advanced topics and we'll try to create more complex videos. That's all for now. Thanks.